It is Monday, April 14th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. How's your trip?
I'm having a good time so far. I got really sunburned yesterday, Rosie. I made the bad decision of letting Olivia, my bronze-skinned Egyptian goddess, give me some like tanning oil with only SPF 15 in it, and this guy's not Egyptian, and I got pretty red yesterday. So today, I'm gonna be wearing like the sun shirt. I'm gonna be taking it really easy because if I do one more day like I did yesterday, I might be out of commission for a while.
SPF 15, you might as well have sprayed like Pam on you.
It's basically what it was, dude. And the Florida sun was out, UV index off the charts. And now, I'll give you guys a little taste.
Oh, God, Plouffe. Oh, for
I
people
know.
that are audio only, it's tomato red.
And Olivia's got this beautiful tan already. It's just ridiculous.
All right, take care of yourself, please. Lot to get to. My gosh, I love Mondays because we are just chock full of it. So let's get going with a pair of tips of the cap. One to your former teammate and first ballot Baseball Hall of Famer Joe Mauer. We frequently talk about statue guys. He was an easy statue to put outside a Target, and it is an awesome one.
Incredible. It's a beautiful statue. That's exactly like how I remember Joe, is that right there. And I will tell you this, Rose, I remember the first time I ever caught a ball from him, like spring training, backfields. I'm at shortstop and he's throwing we're doing like an infield. So he's like throwing lasers down to second base, like catcher throw down, like a throw out. And he always had this incredible backspin on his ball that made it just seem like a pitcher with a fastball that has life on it. Same thing with him. And I didn't know at the time. And he freaking handcuffed me. If you know, you know, when you get a guy with backspin like that. But he's the best. Joe Mauer's the best.
That's cool. Congratulations to him and his family as the honors keep rolling in, and well-deserved. Another one to Nick Castellanos. He is arguably one of the top 5 most interesting guys in baseball. Makes a catch in St. Louis, notices a young Phillies fan, daps him up, handshakes him, tosses him the ball afterward. Memory for a lifetime for that kid, right?
We need more of this. Nick's got it figured out. But if you're a ball player who catches the ball near the stands, just make some lifelong memories, like you said. Dap him up, give him the ball, give him a hug, whatever you need to do. That's awesome. And he surely is an interesting cat, but a good guy as well.
All right, let's get to it. San Diego Padres. Oh, the captain. Dan wanted to throw this in today. Hey, the first player committed to Team USA. There he is. Aaron Judge will be the captain for Team USA for the World Baseball Classic. Good.
I guess I never realized he never did it before. I mean, it's about as obvious of a choice as it can be right there, putting him as the captain.
Yeah, good. Hopefully other guys will follow suit. It'll be a lot of fun. We can't wait for spring of 2026. Yes. But let's get to 2025's best baseball team through the first almost 3 weeks of the season. It resides in San Diego, which is why I'm wearing the Padres cap today. They continue to just run right through everybody that comes into Petco Park. It's possible, in honor of the Masters, that the Colorado Rockies thought low-score wins.
On the ground, Machado to second for one, on to first. Complete game shutout for Michael King. Just the second in Major League Baseball this season.
It wasn't just the second complete game shutout, Nathan Eovaldi, shout out to you with the other one. The Rockies didn't score a run all weekend at Petco. So is it more of a tip of the cap to the Padres or a WTF to the Rockies?
It's a tip of the cap to the Padres, 100%. They've been great, Chris. And, I feel like we were distracted by some of the offseason noise, but I think we did say, like, this is still a very talented roster. If they keep everyone intact, talking about Cease and King specifically, we keep everyone intact, like, why can't they be good? And we kind of wrote them off. I don't think I have been in the playoffs this year, but the thought process was they were going to get rid of a couple of these starting pitchers. Well, there's no way that happens now. Like, they can't do it. The start they've gotten off to, the way this team looks, like they're going to be in it. They're most likely going to be in the playoffs and making a run for a World Series. And I love that for San Diego. You mentioned King and his complete game. Pavetta's been absolutely brilliant for them. He was during this series. Tatis is making incredible plays to end the game. And I love this part. This is my favorite part of the series for them. was in that Michael King complete game shutout. In the first inning, they got a lead and held it, obviously. And the guys that drove in the runs were Oscar Gonzalez, Yuli Gurriel, and Jose Iglesias. Like top to bottom production. And this is without Merrill. This is without Cronenworth, who are both on the IL. I mean, this is we talked a lot about their depth and maybe lack of it, I guess, but it just hasn't been that way. And not only the starting pitching, but the bullpen, who like they have more guys like waiting in the wings for that bullpen. The depth there is astounding. The different arm angles and guys they can throw at you. They're showing themselves to truly be a complete team. So you got to give a tip of the cap to them.
Yeah, well, so what we said about everyday player depth was it too old? I mean, outside of Oscar Gonzalez, everybody that they're counting on, it feels like is 35 or older, and so far so good. It's just, I think, we what we said last week was extended time for those guys could wear them down quickly, and then who knows what sort of production you're getting. So this is definitely tip of the cap, Rockies, whatever. It's the third. I couldn't believe that this has happened 34 times since 1901, where a series of at least 3 games a team didn't score a run. I can't believe
I feel like it's way more than that.
To me, it sounded high.
34 times since 1901. There's been a lot of series, man.
I know, but back-to-back shutouts, it seems pretty bizarre. It hadn't happened since 2017 when the then Indians dispersed of the Royals. So I'm really focused on the starting pitching of San Diego and really curious because I look at the 5 guys they've got right now, and we don't know what the Darvish situation is going to play out. You could say, well, he's due back, and we don't know. I just think people have got to be any sort of word that comes out of San Diego, like, hey, he's good to go, or hey, he ain't coming back. Either one of those wouldn't knock my socks off because I'd be like, yeah, makes sense. So the 2 guys you're focused on are Randy Vasquez, in part because of the innings limitations he's had in his entire career. Last year, he threw a career-high 98 innings in the show, and his career high at any level in the minor leagues is 115. So what are we going to get past that level when he goes every 5 days? Then Kyle Hart, the guy who had to go to the Far East to find himself, and he's just the latest of American-born pitchers that goes over, plays a few years, comes back, and hopefully he does it. Like 6 shutout innings, I think, this weekend. Pretty damn good. It's just, I would expect A.J. Preller at some point to make a move as long as the Padres stay in contention.
I would love that. And then all of a sudden we go from an off season of are they going to trade everyone away, or at least very important people, to wow, they added. Like they need that, man. Again, I'll continue to say San Diego fans deserve that.
Totally. We say countless times on this show every month that is one of the best places to go watch a game. If you're circling, where do I want to go next on my stadium tour? Go to San Diego for the summer. Weather's fantastic, ton to do, and the ballpark atmosphere is virtually second to none. And they're getting it done so far. So that's awesome to see. So the Padres, they'll look to continue their home dominance against the Chicago Cubs. The good news for the Cubs is that they started their tough 6-game West Coast swing in Chavez Ravine by taking 2 out of 3. One kid, welcome home.
Armstrong gets into another one, sends Edman back. He's watching it land in the stands. What a night for Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, with his parents there in the stands. They live in nearby Porter Ranch. Had a chance to chop it up with him and a bunch of the Cubs for our content of Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. There had been a report by Mark Feinsand of MLB.com that the Cubs were in negotiations with Pete Crow Armstrong. He had turned down a deal that would have maxed out if he had hit all of his escalators and options and everything else at $75 million. Who knows whether that number is accurate or not, but he put up some big numbers this weekend.
I didn't know about the contract situation, so that's awesome for him. It makes me feel really good. Local kid, obviously. Shout out Porter Ranch. Didn't know we were going to get a Porter Ranch shout out today. I own a house there. I lived there for 5 or 6 years. Yeah. That's a beautiful place. I think it'd be very wise of them to figure something out with PCA, because I think guys like him have very high floors because of where their value comes from, which is him and his instance, his speed, his base running ability, and his defensive prowess. If he's going to find himself offensively, which he's such a great athlete, I feel like he will be able to hit at the big league level. I mean, the seasons that he can put up are going to be big. So if they can get him locked up early on, it'd be good for them and good for him as well. Get that security, and to be able to already be able to turn down that type of money is pretty special.
When I went out to the stadium on Friday, there were 3 or 4 Cubs max out there for early batting practice. 2 of them were Justin Turner and Pete Crow Armstrong.
Love that. That's a great guy. He should be on JT's hip. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's that.
And he's smart. He will be.
So that's the good news for the Cubs, right? We'll talk about them putting up 16 runs, 16-0 shutout win on Saturday momentarily, but let's focus on the bad news, which is that their left-hander, their all-star pitcher, Justin Steele, is done for the year. Now, we left last week's show saying, well, they think it's just going to be a minimum IL stint. Well, the imaging came back. It ain't good. He's having surgery later this week. I think it's Dr. Meester that's going to end up doing it. They don't know if it's going to be a full-blown second Tommy John for him or the internal brace. Obviously, they'll know when they get in there. But don't you think that Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins, the architects of this club, have to go out and get somebody? Or can they just, like Colin Ray was great last night. Assad's going to come back at some point soon with the oblique. Do you just run with those guys, or do you have to go get somebody?
I mean, to be the team that they want to be, which is a World Series championship team, I think they need to go out and get somebody. I mean, they have guys. They have enough depth to get through a few weeks. But again, it's more Band-Aid-ish. Like Cade Horton's one of their top prospects. Does he figure things out? Hasn't really thrown a ton of innings. Can he come up and be the guy? I don't know, man. If I'm in their position, I really look more towards a guy that's been there and done that. And yeah, you could look towards a Sandy, although he hasn't looked great, but obviously he's that type of pitcher. But other than that, I really don't know, like around the league, who's available, who, they can go get. I mean, I read an article and they were mentioning Michael Lorenzen or a Chris Bassett or somebody like that. But again, I don't know if those guys are available. Like, are the Royals just going to dish them out? Or the Blue Jays, who are playing really good baseball? Yes.
You know a team they could call?
Let me think. Who are you going to say? Your Guardians.
The
Twins.
Twins.
Yeah, I was going to say the Twins too.
I really
Are they going to
do.
give up on the season that early? My God.
We'll talk about them a little bit later and how it's gone sideways quickly. Listen, they have to do something. I know that Assad made 29 starts last year for them. And I know he's not a strikeout guy and he can get a little wild. So could he be dependable enough to put in there? Yes. Could. But you have to be honest with yourself. You could be one and done with Kyle Tucker. And if you're going to have him there, wouldn't you want to do everything in your power to make sure this is as special a season as possible? Now, there's rumors out there. We heard one from, I think, Bob Nightingale and Jesse Rogers and some other people saying that the Cubs and Kyle Tucker sides are talking, which is great. I hope that they are. But you almost have to play this like it's one and done. And if you do that, then you owe it to him, you owe it to the rest of the guys in that clubhouse, and you certainly owe it to the Chicago Cubs fans to make this team a true contender. And Assad is a guy that, yes, can help you out. He's not going to be the difference between winning a division and not winning a division, or winning a playoff series and not winning a playoff series. Oh, by the way, they have not won a single playoff game since 2017. They haven't even made the playoffs since that shortened 2020 season.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think you can mention Assad and him maybe not gonna be the guy that puts you over the hump. I feel like, is Matthew Boyd going to continue to be what he's done early on in the season throughout the year? He's been great. He was matching Yamamoto on Friday pitch for pitch until Tommy Edman got him. But then the bottom rotation of Jameson Taillon, like they need at least that 1-2 punch up top, which they had with Imanaga and Steele, even though Steele wasn't. He had a couple bad starts this year, but they need that 1-2 punch up there. So yeah, I think going and getting somebody, he needs, if they do, Chris, go get somebody, it has to be like somebody of a Sandy caliber. They have to go get like a 1. They can't go out there and just get another 4 or 5 starter, because I don't think, if they're going to do that, just stay within your own organization and keep your prospects.
I agree 100%. 2 other things. You mentioned Matthew Boyd on Friday. Just so that people know, to peel back the onion, I would say at least 75% of starting pitchers on the day that they work, you do not see them until they come out to warm up. They don't come out in the dugout. They don't go run. They'll do stuff behind the scenes. They're kind of in their own little world almost. Would you say that? Is that fair?
Yes, a lot of them are like that.
Okay. Matthew Boyd comes out as we're doing our stuff for dugout discussions. Comes up, introduces himself. Not that he had to. I knew exactly who he was. I was like, aren't you pitching today? He's like, yeah. He goes, but look at how beautiful it is outside. Why wouldn't I want to come out here and just enjoy what's going on? Like, I don't get to go to Dodger Stadium very often. It's a wonderful place. I want to see what's going on out here. And he just sat out there. He was talking to everybody. He wasn't by himself. I appreciated it greatly.
That's a guy who's been around the league for a long time that understands, like, hey, man, like, it's special to do what he's doing right now, and he's taking it in. That's great.
Yeah. The other thing is about Shota. He's the latest guest on Dugout Discussions. Check it out. He and his interpreter, Edwin Stanberry, they were fantastic. Gracious with their time. Really good stuff. Check that out. We've got a few new little parts of the show. We got this segment called Salary Cap where Michelle and I walked around Los Angeles to see if people could figure out what hat she was wearing. It is shocking to see the number of people who don't know what major league hat she was wearing. We were giving away money, not as much as we wanted, but we did. So go check that out. It's on our JM Baseball YouTube channel. The Cubs, as I mentioned, took 2 out of 3, and on Saturday they handed the Dodgers their worst home shutout loss in history, 16-0. So our buddy Miguel Rojas got out there to pitch as a position player and started doing the impressions of his teammates. The Yamamoto, I thought, was great. Pretty dead on. Kershaw, I loved it. The high leg kick, even from the other side. And he said he started getting in trouble with the Roki because he just doesn't understand how he does it. And he said he kind of lost it when he started doing the Roki. I thought they were all pretty good, though.
I'm indifferent about this because, look, obviously it's funny and Miggy is great. And, it wasn't his fault he had to pitch. But, like, when you're out there as a position player and the guy's doing stuff like that, you just want to sit down and just leave the park. So I could put myself in the third baseman's shoes being like, let's go, man, throw the ball.
Well, he was getting hammered too.
Yes,
I mean, at the end of the day, he shouldn't be out there trying to throw as hard as he can. Do kind of need
I keep saying, like, I'm in favor of a white flag as long as the game goes X amount of innings or time limit. Like, I'm a white flag type guy. Like, we don't need that.
Wow.
It's a bad look for the game, dude. Or there should be no position players can pitch ever. Like, I'd be up for that. Like, position players pitching is horrible for the game.
Let us know where you sit on the position players pitching. Leave a comment. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it ridiculous what he did? Plouffe has a couple of suggestions. Wave the white flag, like end the game early, a run rule like they have it in college. Should they have it in? No. Would you be okay if position players are not allowed to pitch? Shohei,
how about this?
By the way,
I got one for the fans. Position player pitches, every fan in attendance gets a free beer as long as you're 21 or over. Okay. Right?
Well, by that time, haven't they shut off the faucets?
Yeah, maybe, but, like, open them back up.
Now
I'm just so against it. I'm so against it.
You are against it. Wow.
It's not baseball.
Wouldn't that be interesting? And then ownership bills the players because they didn't
imagine if in the NFL, I get it, they bring in their backups, whatever. But imagine, like, you bring your wide receiver in to play quarterback, or you bring your linebacker in to play quarterback at the end of the game, and, like, he's actually running plays and throwing passes. Like, that's what the equivalent to this is.
You mean Christian McCaffrey in the NFC title game a couple of years ago when both Niners quarterbacks got hurt?
But he has to throw passes and do things that a regular quarterback would do. Can't run the ball.
Yeah, it's a little different, but okay, I get it. I understand. God, you have such angst for that.
I can't stand it.
Hey, question for you. Are you ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating, easy. They're dietitian approved, ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes so you could fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, It's pretty easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. Reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that simply can't be beat. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast. Use that code Factor Podcast. You're going to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping, which is a big deal because it's a big box. That code, once again, Factor Podcast at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast. You get half off plus free shipping on your very first box. Enjoy. On to the most controversial thing this weekend. Not that the Astros took 2 out of 3 from your little hard-charging Angels, but one fan took more than that. Saturday, Mike Trout, who now plays right field, going after a ball toward the wall, goes over, reaches in, thinks he has it. Dude peels the ball away. Trout's like, what the heck? Holy Mookie Betts, what the hell happened here? Well, another look, and Trout's glove does go into foul territory, thus making it free reign for the fan to go get the ball. So batter is not called out. We continue the inning. Fan does not get ejected, but he and his son get moved from where they were. We'll get to what Mike Trout did afterward. But first of all, when you compare this to what Mookie Betts went through in the Bronx in the World Series, what's the difference?
Oh, I think it's way different. They were like holding Mookie's wrist, and you could have injured him. I don't think they really did that to Trout. I don't fault what happened in Houston to these guys whatsoever. I mean, you're a fan, the ball's coming your way. You're going to react that way, especially if it's in the stands. I mean, number one, you got to be able to defend yourself, because if that ball hits you or his son, like, that's a different discussion we're having. I don't really know what how to fix this. Maybe move the stands back a little bit, but that doesn't make any sense either. I don't know. This was just like kind of a weird, unfortunate play. I do think Trout would have caught that ball, but it was in the stands. So, like, I don't think they really did anything wrong. And as long as they're not like holding him up like they were doing Mookie, then that's a difference for me.
So if you'll notice, Dan, back that up a little bit on this second angle. Watch when Trout falls and then he jumps back up as the person is reaching in and trying to take the ball out of his mitt. Trout is kind of suspended in the air, being held by the guy. Now, he's not holding his wrist like those two guys were doing in the Bronx. To me, that is the big difference, is that the guys were actually holding Mookie's wrist. We would have had a real problem if Mookie had been hurt in that sort of play.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Still,
it's hard because you want to see Mike Trout go make plays like that, but
right.
if you're in the stands right there, what are you supposed to do? Just back away?
So do you think, because these fans that we're showing right now in the Bronx, not only were they kicked out, they have been banned from all stadiums for life. Now, it took a few days, but they did it. That's what happened.
It was just more aggressive what they were doing, and more like malintended.
Do you think because of the situation, it was also game 3 or 4 of the World Series or whatever it was, and the game in Houston was in the middle of April?
I think there was a lot of stuff. There was like no remorse shown. Like, there was just a lot of stuff that went on with that was different.
Well, that's what Trout said. He said that the guy was extremely apologetic at the time. And so we saw this video surface after the game where Mike made sure to meet the father and, most importantly, the son. I want to read you the quote. Trout said they were really apologetic. It didn't really affect the game. I've got kids myself, and that kid was probably 9 years old. Just seeing him after the game, they were nice people. They had to move, and they probably spent hard-earned money on those tickets. Your thoughts?
It's great by him. No, I love it. And also, look, if you're the son there, and or I'll go from the dad's perspective, like, you feel like maybe you embarrassed your son, or like, you just don't want him feeling like that both of you did something wrong. So that, like, Mike Trout bringing them down there, talking to him, giving them gear and a bat, like, obviously that changes the entire way this thing went. And it's just a great and unbelievable job from Trout right there.
So just explain, because I'm sure there are some Yankee fans who are sitting here and saying, well, geez, Plouffe, mean, you're taking shots at our guys. Like,
there's
really,
no way Yankee fans can look at this and be like, oh, our guys should not. Like, that's a completely different situation. I mean, I feel like they're not even the same at all.
So, but when you first saw the play with Trout, weren't you like, wait a second, what are we doing here? First of all, he wasn't out. And secondly, they didn't kick the father-son out. When I first saw it, that was my initial reaction.
But if I remember correctly, this one, clearly the ball hits the fan's hand first. I don't think it was that way with Mookie. He caught the ball, and then they ripped it out of his hand and held him by his wrist to rip it out of his hand. I mean, those are two separate things here.
Okay. You have a voice as well. Actually, you have written words. So type some comments here. What do you think about Trout, the way he reacted? What do you think about Major League Baseball? It feels a little slippery just because the dividing line is invisible, right? It goes straight up, so you got to figure out where's the mitt, where isn't it? I had forgotten where Mookie's mitt started on the play in the World Series.
Yeah, I guess put the net all the way through. That's not fun for the fans. If you pay good money to like be able to lean over the rail a little bit, get right up on the field. But we see other parks have the netting go all the way through. I don't know. Maybe that's the solution.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to see the netting extended all the way down? No, I don't.
You know what? I was not a fan of the netting when it first happened. Because I'm like, this kind of sucks. Now I love it. I used to tell people when I played third base all the time, I would just notice families sitting right in the front row and like the parents not paying attention whatsoever. And I would many times start a season, like give them and like, hey, like, pay attention. Let a lefty's up, or like this guy's coming. Like you have to be aware. You can get hurt. But now with the netting, it's just eases everybody's minds.
I like the netting and how far it goes down. Where it is, if we're proposing taking it all the way almost down to the foul poles, no, not a fan
arena
of that.
Baseball.
Hey, we had a good family friend. She went to an Indians game. Albert Pujols lined a ball and it hit her in the head. I think she was sitting over the dugout, and she couldn't react. She was, I'm going to guess she was maybe 10 or 8 or something at the time. Ended up in the hospital. I mean, she was fortunate.
Crazy. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that stuff is crazy. All right, let's move on. San Francisco Giants, their hot start continued as they headed eastward. They took care of business in the Bronx, and their center fielder is becoming the center of attention.
Right field. Judge back. Still going back. Goodbye. Jung Lee has made himself at home in the big ballpark in the Bronx, like the Babe.
Well, he started getting a little nutty then after that, like the Babe and John Miller, who's a legendary broadcaster. Come on now. He's not doing that, but did have a great weekend, showed off his array of skills. First left, have a multi-homer game against Carlos Rodon, by the way. Are we looking at the Giants' best player?
It's a tough one because they have some really good players. Right now, obviously, he is playing the best on that team, and I mean, I'll even include some of the pitchers that are on that team. Like there's some really excellent ball players in Webb and Verlander of years past, but Willie Adames as well. Like, am I ready to say Matt Chapman? Am I ready to say that he's the best player on the team? I don't think I'm ready to say that, but obviously the potential is there, and he's completely stepped up where we've seen a lot of these other guys that I just mentioned really not step up. The best 3 hitters for the Giants right now are Jung Lee, Mike Yastrzemski, and Wilmer Flores, Wilmer Flores has 6 homers leading the majors, 19 runs driven in already. Like he's picked up the slack of a Willie Adames, of a late night Lamont. Chapman's been okay. But the guys that we thought were going to be the contributors that needed to step up were an Elliot Ramos, were a Tyler Fitzgerald, and they really haven't been there either, and those other guys have. But Jung Lee, we were robbed of his rookie season last year, and now we're just kind of seeing what the Giants saw in him. And if you remember when they signed him, we couldn't believe how much money they gave him because we felt like the other teams weren't in that ballpark, but the Giants wanted their guy and understood – you either set the market or you chase the market, and they did it, and they went out and got their guy, and now we're seeing it. He looks great, man. Those swings are beautiful. Playing center field with pop like that is you put yourself in conversation for one of the most talented guys in the league when you can do both of those things. You play great center field with pop and are an offensive threat. Those are guys that put themselves in MVP conversation.
He's tied for the league lead with 8 doubles. The only guy who's got a higher OPS is Aaron Judge so far. And you were right about us being robbed, and Giants fans obviously killer. He didn't play after the middle of May last year. He got in 37 games before he had to bow out because of that injury. He hasn't had 200 big league at-bats yet.
No.
I think his first one tonight in Philadelphia will be his 200th big league at-bat. And so he's fun. We showed the little crowd that he's got. What was
the hooligans?
The hooligans. Yes.
Hooligans.
He's if he's not already the most popular player in San Francisco, he's going to be shortly. And
I think so too.
Does it replace the fact that they whiffed on Arson Judge and Shohei Ohtani and backed out of the Correa deal and all that? No, it doesn't. But what it means is they got something right. Yes, they still paid him 9 figures. I think it was 6 for $113 is the deal that he ended up. But it feels like it's going to be worth every penny because he could be a 4 to 5 WAR player every year.
Yeah, I mean, the position he plays, like I mentioned, with the defense, if you put the offense together like he has, I mean, I'm looking at this, Chris. I love this stat. 7 walks, 8 strikeouts, like almost a 1-to-1 ratio. That tells me that you are actually – this isn't just like a fluke thing where you're going to, hit some homers and drive the numbers up. He's having great quality at bats as well. So I'm in on him, and I'm really in on the Giants too. Like, I just think there's so much potential. And I told Jake this earlier today. I'm curious to see what you think. I've always flaunted that the Phillies have like the best clubhouse in baseball, the way they get along, just like the machismo, like they just feel like they're a unit that's driven by one thing, and it's World Series. I think the Giants are the new Phillies. With the guys that they've put together there, it just feels like they're having fun, but at the same time working their ass off. It just feels really, really good to me.
Well, I will find out. I will be seeing them this coming weekend when they drop by Anaheim. Trying to set up an interview. Don't want to jinx that one, but we've been on a pretty good run so far, so feeling pretty good about it. Yeah. Today's episode of Baseball Today, sponsored by MLB 9 Innings, a Major League Baseball game you can actually play in the palm of your hands. MLB 9 Innings has a wide variety of game modes, from league mode, where users can play through a season, to live player v. player. 9 Innings has over 2,000 player cards to collect and use in your dream roster. MLB 9 Innings also has the most up-to-date rosters, team logos, ballparks, and unis. 9 Innings has also added new historic players to the game like Joe DiMaggio, Satchel Paige, Kirby Puckett, Derek Jeter, and one of the newest Hall of Famers, Adrian Beltre. You may have already seen it, but MLB 9 Innings has released an incredible trailer this year as well. Trouty's in it, Junior's in it, even Greg Maddux is in it. So check out the trailer over at MLB 9 Innings official YouTube channel. Download and play MLB 9 Innings 25 today. Click the link in the description. Off you go. All right. So much stuff happened over the weekend. We had to just smush a bunch of topics in this last one. So we're going to start off with this. Cooler moment. Garrett Crochet striking out 11 in his return to the South Side and taking a no-no into the 8th. Or the guy who broke it up, Chase Maedwarth, was one of the dudes that Chicago got in return in the Crochet deal.
Shout out for Crochet of being a stopper there. I mean, they could have been swept by the White Sox, which is not what you want if you're the Red Sox. But I'll go with Maedwarth for breaking up the no-no. It was a 1-2 pitch, a little slider down there, pokes it through the 6 hole. And not only are you facing a guy of Garrett Crochet's, caliber at the big league level, but you understand the implications. So, yeah, I got traded for this guy. Like, there's a little bit of extra juice going on there. And he gets the knockdown. So I like that. I expect that out of Garrett Crochet. Maybe not no-hit innings, into the 8th, but I think the cooler one was Maedwarth.
Yeah. The fact that, we've heard of the other guys, and Kyle Teal obviously being the number one. I think Montgomery was the other big one in the trade. So this guy, we didn't know, but here he is. Do you think that Alex Cora was okay with him giving up a hit there? Because Crochet was at 96 pitches after that knock. And he was like, all right, I'm coming to get him. That's it.
Yes, I do.
I do.
100%. Took all the guesswork out of it. Didn't have to answer questions after the game. They were going to get the win. It was perfect for Alex Cora. I guarantee he was like this. Yes.
Yeah, but the problem was it got dicey because the
Yeah, a
White
little
Sox
dicey, yeah.
scoring a run and making it 2-1. White Sox hung on 3-1. By the way, we'll have to talk at some point this week if it continues about their shoddy offense. Last week it's been MIA. Horrible. Jays win in extras in the Charm City with Jeff Hoffman taking care of business against Baltimore. That would be the same Orioles that they pulled a deal from Hoffman. He was going to sign reportedly a 3-year, $40 million offer. They didn't like what they saw with the shoulder. And you see this. He blew a kiss toward the Baltimore dugout after the 7-6 win. Does this add a little extra spice to the battle between these AL East teams?
Yeah, because that's not just a kiss. Like, that doesn't look like that's a FU kiss right there. Which, you know what, Jeff, like, you don't really need to do that. Like, you're dealing with the Jays, like, I think he had 2 innings pitched that day with 4 Ks, like, shuts him down. Their bullpen was really good in that game, but be the bigger man, Jeff.
All I would say,
and I give that advice when I'm usually, sometimes am the bigger man, but most of the time I'm petty as well.
So my question is this: Did Cedric Mullins fail him on his physical?
That's
Gunnar Henderson was
the team doctor in the dugout.
Is he looking at the things going like, I don't think we can sign him, guys.
That was just a general to the organization kiss right there.
But you're right. He's picked up a save and a win now against Baltimore, and he basically had to bite his lip when people were interviewing him after the game. Like, well, doesn't it mean something special? He's like, you got to win. He's sitting there. He's like, yeah, F those guys.
Didn't you see me blow a kiss?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great little story for us to play because this won't be the last time he's on the mound in a huge situation against the team that said, yeah. By the way, Baltimore for years, just so that they know, and I don't know if their medical staff has turned over, for years, they have been one of the most stringent teams when it comes to passing guys on physicals. I mean, it got to the point where fans were like, come on. I mean, what are we doing here? We ever going to? Yeah. Did you ever hear that? Because I heard that about Baltimore.
In my experience, I never came up with it, but it is, I don't know. It's like, how do these doctors get so much trust? Like, there's always second opinions, but do they ever get second opinions on contract, like status, guys like that?
No, but you have to think of it this way. If you're signing off on a $40 million deal, you damn well better be right.
Guys get hurt anyway, even with a clean bill of health. It's never going to be your fault as the doctor. Jeff Hoffman, by the way, 9 1/3 innings pitched, 13 Ks, only 1 walk, but it was intentional. So it was essentially 0 walks.
And by the way, he did sign a $33 million deal with the Blue Jays.
Maybe he was kissing his money. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Elly De La Cruz, it was his special day, and he made it even more special for fans.
Here we go. Fly ball, deep left field. He got a whole lot of it. You can kiss that baby goodbye. A grand slam for Elly De La Cruz on the LA bobblehead night. 4-0 Reds.
I love it when this happened. We saw it with Shohei earlier this year.
Yeah.
Now Elly De La Cruz. By the way, Jeff Brantley, former closer, former big league closer, an all-star. Good call on that one. I loved it. I thought
That was really good.
Neat.
I'm curious because Elly had been struggling a little bit. He had the torpedo bat, had the 3-homer game, I believe it was, or and then
homered from both sides of plate, right?
it wasn't 3. Okay, had a big game with the torpedo bat. And then after that, struggled with it, got rid of it, and I'm curious to see if he brought it back. But that was beautiful, and he was running the bases as they swept the Pirates. I mean, he's just an all-around player.
He is. And by the way, the line to get the Elly bobblehead, insane.
Just give it to everybody.
Yeah, I know, right? Why aren't we just?
The Dodgers did that.
Because if you got extras, I'm sure we could take them to, some children's hospital. Like, hey, ownership, order 3,000 extra.
Or just don't make your loyal fans show up and have to wait in line for 5 hours. Like, that sounds horrible.
They've been waiting decades to win a playoff series. Why?
Hey, for another $100,000, we can appease our fans. That seems like a no-brainer to me for an organization worth billions of dollars.
Maybe you need to run the marketing meeting.
That's just, I mean, dude.
All right. Bad weekend for your Twins. They lose a series against the Tigers, and Jose Miranda, not exactly sure what happened on this play. Force out at second, or so he thought. But he was called safe. You can see the umpire clearly saying you're safe, and he starts running back toward the dugout. So we're like, Colt Keith is like, oh, I guess I'll tag you. You're out. He wasn't playing well either. So he got about an hour after the game. Do you think this play had anything to do with it?
Well, they had to make a move for Brooks Lee, but yeah, it had something to do with it. He's been struggling. That's like it's a bonehead play, and he's a great guy who takes his work very seriously. So, I don't think they were like, hey, this is just another, Jose Miranda type situation. But it obviously aided in or it made it easier for them to send him down. Yes.
That stuff is, I got to tell you, the Twins look a little lost right now.
Yes, they do, Chris. Yes, they do. It's been bad. Nobody's really hitting the ball. We saw them almost come back against Canely in that first game, and got a couple infield hits against him. And then Mickey Gasper, who comes up, who's like he's crushed at the minor league levels, but never really at the big league level. And he took a check swing and hits a ground ball to first base to end it with runners on. The kids drive in. It just was a bad look. It's been bad in Minnesota. It's been bad.
Yeah. It has been bad. Last thing, good weekend for Seattle, which I believe swept Texas up there in the Pacific Northwest. We had a parachute incident. Somebody parachuted a hot dog wrapper down toward Luke Raley, picks it up. Fans were chanting, eat it, eat it, eat it. The problem was that it was just the wrapper. There was no hot dog in it. Had there been one, and had that been you in the outfield, would you have taken a bite?
No, heck no. I don't even like we go to dinner. I'll go to dinner with Olivia, and I know she's going to ask for a bite of my food, and I'm okay with that. And she's like, do you want some of mine? I'm like, no. Like, I want my food. I know where it's been. I don't need to try your food. I would never in a million years pick up a hot dog where I didn't know where it had been before and eat it. Never.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I have been labeled by my dear friends the human garbage disposal because I would finish food on their plate. I had no problem with it.
Chris, do you share soup?
No, but I'm just saying that back when I was younger. But this is where I would draw the line. I don't trust people I don't know, and so if you parachute a hot dog in, I'm not going to eat that. There's no way. That's where I draw the line. Now I want to backtrack to what you just said about Olivia. What is the matter with you?
I just don't like it. Like, I order what I want, so I'm going to eat, like you're ordering, like I'm going to eat what I eat. Like, that's
do you ever go halvesies? Do you say, hey, well, we can't decide between the steak and the fish, and so we'll cut up half and half?
I won't like cut up, but I'll give her a few bites. And again, I just usually just eat my food. And if we do like family style ordering, we were out with a bunch of people, I'm okay with that as well. But like
with sharing sides,
as long as there's a utensil to get them out. Instead of like, I don't want everyone going in there with
their own foot. No, that's wrong. That's
people
like double dipping.
If you are a real fan of John Boy Media, you'll remember back spring training 2020 when we had these arancini balls at Boston Red Sox spring training, and Jake and Jimmy were feeding them to each other, and they're asking me if I want some. I said no, and I said, man, we don't know what's going on. You guys might have this thing called COVID. And I was like, I don't want any part of it. And people made fun of me. And then guess what happened? We had COVID. Okay.
What type of balls were they?
Around this? Arancinis.
Yeah. It all started with the arancini ball.
Oh, man. I'm trying to forget that.
Yeah.
That year.
A lot of people are.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Not a great time in our country or the world at that point. I'm gonna have to notice this the next time that the four of us go out. Maybe I'll make sure we go somewhere where it's family style.
You do that, and then
we'll take away the utensils.
We're gonna be in the warehouse, and I'm gonna get a hot dog and parachute it down to you from the second story, so you can live out that fantasy in a clean way.
Wait, no, you're gonna have to throw it up because Moylan and I are upstairs.
Well, I'm gonna put you down on the floor, and I'm gonna send it from the broadcaster booth.
I start breaking into convulsions when I get onto that floor. It's not a good place for me to be. I'm much safer upstairs. Much safer. All right. This is a lot of fun. Always appreciate you hitting the thumbs up button. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you haven't done that. Check out Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. Shota Imanaga is there. We got a fun question of the week. I think it's the one where they send us on a vacation, maybe something like that. And we got a brand new game called Salary Cap, which is astonishing. I couldn't believe what we ended up doing. I was like, what? All I can tell you is one major league team has been renamed, and it is the funniest name I've ever heard in my life. So please go check all that out. Appreciate the support. Plouffe is on vacation tomorrow, so we have somebody special sitting in. Would you like to know who it is?
Yeah, tell me.
Jeff Passan is going to join us.
This is the second time he's filled in for me this year. What's going on, Jeff? I mean, I appreciate it. I really do.
Well, not on this show. This is the first time he's doing this show.
Well, he did Talking Baseball for me.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm happy. Jeff's a great guy, and I appreciate him filling in for me and letting me enjoy the beach. I'm going to Busch Gardens tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful.
So you see me there, check me out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't share too many meals with your friends out there. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented yet vacationing Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Tuesday with Jeff Passan of ESPN here on Baseball Today.